I generally will catch it and that kind of thing. So
Understood.
but anyhow, and again, good evening out there in spray wash land. Hey, Ray Burke will be in here momentarily. He said he'll be running in a little bit on the hot and heavy side, had something going on at home, so he'll be in there. But for those of you that don't know, we got Mike Oleyn here, and he is so it's Oleyn's pressure washing and soft washing. Is that correct?
It's Oleyn's pressure washing. Yeah,
Oh.
that's the name of the business.
So I call it Oleyn, and you call it Oleyn.
Hey, everybody calls me everything.
I wonder which one of us is correct.
Yeah, right. I've heard it all throughout my years.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
Oleyn, Oleyn, everything.
Yeah, and like I said, I had it spelled wrong in the very beginning. So anyhow, and I knew how to spell it too. It's just I don't know why. Just sometimes you twist those two up, and it's all good. So, and you're out of what is it? What, West Palm Beach?
West Palm Beach, Florida. So I'm above Miami, and about maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours above Miami.
Gotcha. And so there were some things that popped up online and that were about SEO. And there was a question that went back and forth, and I think you had asked about organic SEO. And so, just so you all know, that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit today. Which again, Ray will be here shortly. He'll be running in a little bit hot, so just want to go ahead and hit some of the comments here. We got MTH in here. MTH is saying, "Haven't seen Mike in a while. Should be a great live." Yeah. Let's see. Truth Seeker is in here. Good evening, gents. Good evening back to you. Michael J is in the house. Really great to be here. Good evening, pros. Let's see. We got Rocket City Spray Wash. Evening, gentlemen. Even back at you. And then Mr. Allen's in here. What's going on, man?
What's up, Alan?
Let's see. Truth Seeker saying, "What's up, Mike? Haven't seen your leprechaun ass in a minute."
Sometimes you need a mental health break from Facebook.
there, lots of times in this industry you need a mental health break. And Mark is saying, "Aye." Let's see. We got Anthony Finelli in here out of Cape Coral, Florida. And Manuel is in here. What up, Manuel? Mr. Tom is in here. Hola. Manuel's back at it right there. Let's see. We got Servant Soft Wash. And then Facebook user, remember, we can't see all the names sometimes. Apologize for that. And we'll get it. And then Mr. Todd's in the house. All right. So let's start off with this. The first thing I want to do is I just kind of want to say, because I know everybody should theoretically know what SEO is, but SEO is search engine optimization. And I don't think a lot of people really know what that means or how it works or what is it. And so your question about organic SEO to me is organic SEO to me is more important than any SEO that you're going to pay for. And sometimes I get comments about SEO and, man, this guy's ripping us off. The SEO is so, it costs so much to get, get ranked first on Google and all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot that goes behind that. And that's part of the reason for that happening. Ray's just about ready to pop in here. And that's part of the reason for those expenses. But so I'm curious, Mike, what do you, when you think of organic SEO, what are you thinking? What's your thought process on that?
So
what do you
I guess, so what I think it means is basically anything that your business ranks, you have, and then I see you have your ads and things like that. When you're paying your ads, that's what I wanted to kind of stay away from. I wanted to build it on an organic side, meaning, even if it takes obviously over a year now, I've been with this company and they do a great job, but even if it takes multiple years, I'd rather show up organically just so I don't feel like I have to just continually dump money. And paying for ads is great. I wanted to just, I guess it's just showing up without paying for ads is how I think of SEO.
Okay, so what does organic mean to you? That's right.
Natural.
Okay, so that's really organic. Basically, boils down to anything that you're not paying for. That's it. Okay, so think about some things that when you talk about organic SEO or you talk about paid advertising again, right? So paid advertising, if they're doing it a certain way, can end up being organic for them, not for you because you're paying for it. But like blog posts and all those kinds of things, even your videos, all of those things, anything that you do that you're not paying for, and creating the different. How many pages do you have on your website? You know?
Oof, good question. I want to say about 5.
5. Okay. And what are those pages about?
Well, I have my home. I have about, which I have the blogs done, things like that, and then I have one for roof cleaning, one for pressure washing, and I believe one for soft washing. Honestly, I don't really know too much about the website layout. I used to, but it's been so long. I've had a company doing it, so I really haven't been paying attention to it like that.
So, do you know where you rank?
Okay, so on Google in my area, if I search roof cleaning or pressure washing, I show up pretty quick in the maps. But when it comes to the websites, when you go past the maps, you start seeing the website. I'm not really showing up yet on, I'm pretty far down it, but I also am in a flooded area with washers.
Okay. So I don't know who does your SEO, and I might get in trouble here.
No, listen, they're pretty reputable, and I've only been with them for a year. So it's not.
But a year's a long time when it comes to SEO. A year is a really long time.
Yeah, see,
well, a year's a long time to stroke checks, too. That's. And hey, Mike, I apologize for being late. I did not mean to.
All good, Ray. My pleasure, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you so much for coming on. But
yeah. But so I've heard. Why? That's another good question. I've heard sometimes it takes a year, 18 months before your website starts really showing up organically in the search field for the website.
It depends on what you do and how you do it. Yeah, you can take 30 years to show up great organically if you're not doing much. Okay, so you said you've got blogs on your website. What are you doing anything with those blogs?
No, as far I share some.
No.
I share. I mean, am I doing the blogs? No, yeah. They handle all that.
Okay.
But what I'll do is I'll go and share them with customers and stuff like that, like previous customers.
Okay, so the reason that I'm asking that is that, again, this is no slight on them whatsoever. Okay, but when you look at something like that, if you're talking about if they're doing blog posts, are they in the pressure washing, soft washing arena?
Yeah, they handle quite a few guys in our industry that I look up to, pretty reputable. I would believe so.
Okay.
So I could just say the name. I mean, if it's just click.
Yeah, I'd say, who is it? I mean,
click, call, sell.
Okay.
They're pretty reputable, and when I say that, I see guys in the industry, Brandon Vaughn, Jeremy Brooks, another guy I can't think of off the top of my head, but he has multiple trucks, things like that. And I love my website. Yeah. And I don't know.
I'm looking at it right now, and Mike, I've never been on your website, but and you're right. I mean, so I've never searched your website, but I typed in Lake Worth pressure washing, and you actually popped up number 2 on the maps.
Yeah. But that is organic from me doing my Google My Business.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
where does he come up in? Just the regular
websites. You won't find it.
Okay, hold on. But I'm looking, and on the blog, it's nice. They're doing, you're getting at least one blog post every month on there, which, is good. I can't understate the power of a blog, of going in there and keeping and looking. And first off, I want to, my full disclosure, I'm not a SEO expert. I'm not a guy that's ever claimed to be, hey, yeah, I can, because I'm not. But we were number 1 in Tallahassee for a long time, and we're still reaping the whirlwind of that even after the sale of the company. And that was something that was important to the company, is that, what our ranking was. And a lot of it is what I would consider organic, because I paid ambidextrous services for a very nice website, but I never paid for any SEO or any of that type stuff. And that was part of what I felt my job was going out there and creating the SEO for it. And I've never paid anybody to do that.
Well, here's the thing. When you're talking about, and again, no slight on any company that's doing the SEO, because I think a lot of them can be worth more than you're paying them. Okay. But I think it's more important for you guys to write your own blogs. You don't have to post a blog. You can give it to the company and say, this is what, and the reason for that is simply this. If you hire a company, and again, I'm not saying yours is doing this, but if you hire a company to write blogs for you and they're writing blogs for 50 different companies, I guarantee you that a lot of that wording is going to be identical. It's going to be the same. It's going to be, they're just changing it from Oleyn's to spray wash to, Cajun to, to whatever. And so that's not going to necessarily help you in the ranking side of it, right? And the reason it's not is because Google's out there searching all these pages. And I think Google, I mean, the last time I read, they own like 90-something% of the web, kind of a thing. So that's why I more focus on them than anything else. But so creating your own things, your own blog posts, you don't have to post them. You can give them to them to post. Yeah. And your images, your videos, all these kinds of things. But you have to remember that it's all about the way you name things, label things, tag things. And the reason that I was
word stuffing, yeah. And Mike, to answer your question, I mean, and you've got an absolute monster in your area with Dan Ryan, down there. But under the maps, I've got Power Washing Palm Beach. So 1 is the first one. Then PB Pressure Clean 2. Yelp is 3. Sunshine is 4. Dan is 5. Angie's List is 6. Magic Bubbles is 7. And you're number 8. So you're actually showing up there, pretty darn good.
And that's on the maps, right?
No. That's on the first page. That's on the first page.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
my computer is completely a virgin for searching your company because I've not done that. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people forget about their computer. Oh my God, look how good I'm searching. Well, so yeah, you're searching from your own computer and you've got location services turned on, and
that's where I'm guilty of that too.
I'm guilty.
If y'all are going to search for your company or whatever, first of all, try to do it from a different computer, different phone, whatever. But secondly, do you know what an incognito window is?
Oh yeah.
Do it from an incognito window, right? That way, the odds are you're going to get more what the real world is seeing versus what you're seeing. I mean, anything you type in, you're going to come up and say, "Oh yeah, man, I rank awesome," but you really don't. It's just because it's recognizing you. And one of the things I want to say is that, the mapping feature you put in there, you're the one that did that, right? If you guys aren't playing with the map and getting yourself on the Google Maps, I mean, that's super huge for your business. That's the first thing.
Bread and butter.
Yeah. No, I mean, it really, and I was going to answer a question here, and it is part of your bread and butter. I mean, it may not be the whole, I firmly believe your website shouldn't be the whole bread and butter. It should be the crust maybe, or, one smear of butter, but it shouldn't be the whole thing. I think if you're,
so what should be the whole bread and butter, Ray?
But,
nothing.
Yeah, nothing should be.
Could you imagine if Google went down? If Google went down today, I would be crapping myself. You know what I'm saying?
So Anthony said, I'm using a monthly service right now and thinking hearing a WordPress site is better for SEO. Thoughts? I was number 1 in my area with a GoDaddy site for a long time, and I just did the which is not WordPress, and then ambidextrous. I don't remember what they did, and then I had a guy who did some WordPress take over the management of it. So, but I think with anything, but I have heard several people mention that WordPress is very good and kind of the standard.
WordPress is the standard in the industry right now.
But I
here's
think
the
like
thing.
anything else, you just have to use what you got out there. So with your blogs, and you set up your site with Google and you tell it to, okay, search my homepage, and again, once a month. Search my page on roof cleaning once every 3 months. Search my page on pressure washing once every 3 months. Search my blog every week or something. And because
You've got to be adding that content.
that's kind of telling, because Google likes it whenever websites are updated, and whenever we're updating that site consistently with the blogs, it's a huge deal to Google out there, and because they're always wanting more content coming out on your blog stuff.
And the whole thing about it is having relevant quality content. That's really it. So
Yep.
when you look at this, and the question is, a WordPress website, is it better for SEO? Well, I mean, you have to, again, understand SEO, right? Because SEO is really about the words and the verbs and all these things that are being used. Okay, so if it's a WordPress site, if it's a Google site, if it's not a Google site, I'm sorry, it's a GoDaddy site, it's a whatever those are, Just Host site, what doesn't matter. If your SEO is crap, if the way things are written are crap, it doesn't matter where you do it. So use the correct words and terminology and understand what it is that your customer is actually looking for. And I think that that's kind of the more important thing is, what is it that your customer is searching for? So Mike, I'm going to ask you this. Do you ask every single customer how they heard about you?
Not every customer, no, but it's something I try to practice. It's just not always getting done.
Okay, so I encourage you to do that, because that's one of those ways to find out what people are actually searching for. Because a lot of times people, I hear this and it's like, well, if you're asking your customer, how did you hear about us? And they say, oh, well, I did a Google search. Ask them, follow up, what did you search for? Well, I searched for, red beard pressure washing. You're like, what the hell is that all about?
I have on my CRM software, it has, when they fill out their estimate form, I do have that form. But I like to try and ask the customer myself. Like when I'm done with a job, I like to try and follow up with a phone call and just saying, hey, how's everything? Making sure everything looks good. And then, sometimes we'll get into conversations how they heard about me, things like that.
And Mike, I would actually encourage you to absolutely flip that script, and on the initial phone call, hey, do you mind me asking, how did you hear about us? And because you've got really awesome marketing out there. Your logo is so distinctive. Your truck wrap is really cool. And I would just, I think so many people sit here on the initial call and they're just scared to sit there and chit chat with the people. And I mean, and people love to, at least the people that like to spend money, they let their guards down and they're can be very, very chatty with us. And so, I hear Tanya all the time, so how'd you hear about spray wash? Found you on Google, or referred from a friend at church, or, just, it could be 1,000 different things. And then if you start seeing a pattern on that, then maybe you dump even more money into that.
Well, you can even use that as a money maker. And the way that I say that is that if you say to somebody, how did you hear about us? And you can take that into a whole different sales constitution, if you would. And that is, Ray over at Spray Wash referred me. Oh, great. I like to find out because I'll send Ray a little thank you card. Or, sometimes we send out brownies, or sometimes we send out, whoever gives us the most referrals, we send them on, a day spa or something like that, so that you can twist that a little bit so that they understand why and get that answer from them. But you have to keep track of what it is. Write those down, keep a spreadsheet, whatever that term is that's being used the most. That's more of what you're targeting when you're writing. Look, not paying for your ads, right? We're talking about more organic SEO. So when you're writing a blog post or you're writing a page, you should have way more than 5 pages, by the way. Somebody on here said 50 to 100, somewhere around there. Hey, I'm not going that far, but I see the point of it. the more sites you have, and the more backlinks you have, and all those kinds of things, all those are organic. But making sure that you're using the right words that people are searching for is probably among that top.
And Doug, let me add on there. So, I want to go with Todd's comment here. And he uses Dominate. Said do a fantastic job, but everything else he does, he or his family members do it. And even the Dominate and themselves are admin, so they can both upload and update. So I mean, he's working with his web partners on doing that. And this is one of the things I think I'd like to impress upon everybody out there is don't just let the guy that says, "Oh, we can get you to #1" out there." Don't ever trust that pitch, because it really should be a partnership, and they might have the special tools, the coding, they may know how to talk the computer language, but remember, we're the ones that actually know what to do, and go out there whenever you've got to slow something. Write, you're in bed at night, sit there and grab the iPad or the phone and start writing a little blog and send that over to them. So you should always be generating content in your mind.
Even if it's as you're driving down the road, you pick up your phone and you just talk into some recording thing that you've got on your phone, and then send it to them, and then let them write it based on what your notes are, what your thoughts are. You're just leaving a job, and there was a Japanese maple, and maybe that's what you want to talk about: what you do, why you do, how you do, why Japanese maples are important in your area, why these different types of things. You help them create that content and work in partnership.
And I want to also go back to it glitched there. I didn't mean to talk over y'all, but like Michael Evans just said, the more I share my site online, the better my placement. And I really encourage everybody, if you can go to a place like in Tallahassee, we've got a website called Tallahassee Reports. It's a local news channel. And you can go in there and comment on stories. And I would always put my signature, and it would allow you to put a link to a website on there. There's other cleaning forums out there that are publicly searchable. I think cleaningtalk.com, I think, was one of them. And it ranks really high, because remember, it's the more that Google sees your name out there, and the more that it thinks you're a relative thing in this thing called the web. And remember how a spider web looks. The more Google relevance Google is going to put towards you on there.
I don't know if it's you or what's going on, Ray. I don't know if anybody else can pipe in about it, but you're like cutting in and out on my end.
Yeah, for me too.
So you're cutting in and out on my end.
Yeah.
I thought it was me.
No, I think it's Ray. Yeah. I think he's having some internet issues there. But so look, another thing is, let's talk about pictures that your before and after pictures. And are you using tags on those? Are you like videos? You have to remember that, first of all, use YouTube, because who owns YouTube? Google does. But this video, there's no way that Google is going to know what all this is about, right? Not only that, but if you put before and after pictures on your website, Google doesn't know what those are. They don't know it's just an image, right? You have to tell Google and other search engines what those images are by using tags and by using descriptive factors on those images and on your videos, all those sorts of things, so that they know what it is that content is about. And you also need to get a little bit creative. So a lot of times, so to you, is it pressure wash, or is it what's the other one? Pressure wash and pressure clean. And
so yeah, as far as the language, so I use pressure washing, but pressure cleaning's big down here. One of the biggest. But
there's one more. There's another one. What is it? I'm
soft washing.
No. It's pressure.
Power washing.
Power washing. There you go.
Yeah.
So you got to keep that in mind. You need to use all of those terms. Yeah. That's what my point is.
Well, I would say especially down there, because power washing is really popular up north, and a lot of your people are snowbirds, Mike, coming down there. And Steve Sabella has got some amazing comments out there.
Right. That's a
and
good
some
point.
ideas.
It's
That's a great point. I never
No,
thought of that.
absolutely. I mean, because they may not be calling. I mean, we're in the South. We call it pressure wash,
That's a
pressure
good
washing.
point, man.
and they're calling it power cleaning or power washing.
Yeah.
So, and Stephen, before and after at client's house and upload it to Maps, tag the location of the photo, use the keywords in the photo description,
Absolutely.
the Google My Business. How important is that?
Extreme.
Have 200 photos on your Google My Business on there. They don't care how many photos you have, I don't think. And these are all the little things that we can do. But even as Stephen's saying, he's got a website because he has to, but there's lots of other ways. But I see so many, and especially the young guys, the newer guys that are hanging their hats on and living and dying by a website or Facebook advertising. And like Stephen
or
said,
signs or anything.
Wheel, it's just a spoke in a wheel because your
If
marketing
you
strategy
rely
ought to
on
be
one
all
thing and one
over.
thing only, you're in for a hard time. That's a fact. So, and you got to remember that this is why when you're talking about SEO and good SEO costs money, is because it takes a lot sometimes to come up with something original. And like I was saying, if they're sharing the same article with 10, 15, 20 different companies, that's not a good thing because it's not original content anymore, right? And so I think that a good SEO company is creating fresh content. But if they don't know what it is that you do, that's why I'm saying, hey, you're paying somebody already anyhow. Utilize them, but do it with your words instead of theirs. You see what I mean?
I agree 100% because, having them, and I trust in them, they're very reputable. So I do trust in them. But the verbiage or the language, like you said, like, if they're using a word, say they're doing a company out in Maine or up north somewhere, they're going to be using different verbiage. And if I can just write my own little thing, that's a great idea. I've never thought of that. I just kind of let it to them. I never thought of actually writing them myself.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like Rusty saying, the backlinks, what we were just talking about, backlinking to your site from other places where you can comment to. Mark Carraro, the alt tags on the photos.
Absolutely. And does everybody know what backlinking is? Do you know what backlinking is, Mike?
It's I always thought it was when you see, I don't know much about any of this SEO stuff, but I always thought it was something when you had another website that you're able to have your website listed on, like a blog, or, you could have a blog page and then Mike Oleyn with OleynsPressureWashing.com.
Absolutely. And you can do that in so many different locations, right? I mean, even with other businesses in your local area, if you do business with somebody and they have a website, you can swap out links with them, right?
That's why the mapping feature on Pro was so important, Doug.
Absolutely.
Yes. A backlink to an established, highly rated site on there, and then your link is attached to that. Back Nostalgic said exterior cleaning too. Always talk about exterior cleaning. That's another keyword stuffing that you can put in there and
exterior washing, window. I mean, you can get into it, and actually, I'll encourage you all to do this. Sit down and define your keywords. So write down an entire list of what your keywords are so that you can write blogs and posts and things that have those keywords. But you also have to remember, once you come up with your list, that's your list. That's not what your customers are necessarily searching for, just like we were talking about a minute ago, right? You got people from the north and the south coming to Florida. Ask them what it is that they're searching for so that you can add that. So you've got two categories, one that's your list and one that's their list, and match the two of them up and see what works better. And if you do a job for the Power Wash store, hey, Power Wash store, how about we swap links? We did work for the Power Wash store of Tallahassee, right? And then the Power Wash store puts a blog out. Hey, we did, we had Oleyn's Pressure Washing come out here and do work for us. You can even cross-write your own. You can have the Power Wash store write your blog post, and you can write their blog post. You see what I mean?
And what you think about things from people say, well, I don't know what to put on a blog, and I mean, let's say you see you mentioned a Japanese, maple out there. And let's say you see a Japanese maple in a customer's yard, and you take a picture of this tree and you say, we absolutely love these trees. They're beautiful. The Japanese maple, these are absolutely gorgeous trees with their vibrant oranges and red foliage. Blah, blah, blah. Talk a little about it. I mean, because these blogs, they like information. They like, a lot of flowery words on there. And then say, however, the downside of a Japanese maple is they can be really temperamental. And so at Oleyn's Pressure Washing, we are going to take all these steps. They do not like any kind of exposure to chemicals. They really don't even like getting shocked with water on a hot day. That can make them defoliate. So we're going to, whenever we encounter a Japanese maple, this is, one of the things, and this is what we've had the education from Spray Wash Academy plant and property protection class. And we actually, even have a link you can throw a link to that, and you can put other links on your backlinks on there. Mm-hmm. But those are perfect little stories for your blog pages on there. You get up on a roof, like I did the little video in Belize, now I'm drawing a blank, but that Decra stone roofing.
Right.
Get up on that roof and say, this is a roof that a lot of guys don't understand, but Decra. This is actually a granule coated metal.
Anytime you come across
and it has what's that? Yeah. And it has very special cleaning things. And we understand how the manufacturer's specifications are on cleaning this. And then you're stuffing those keywords of Decra metal roofing and cleaning and knowledge and things like that. And that stuff that your blog will just make your blog soar out there and do well.
Yeah. When you do any kind of specialty roofing that you do, any kind of specialty work that you do, period, it's all worthy of and this isn't just about blogs, though we're making it a lot about blogs, because blogs are actually, they can be pretty important to that organic SEO side of it, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with pages. And while we're talking about pages and blogs and all that, how do you title something is the other side of it. Okay. You have to think about even your titles, because if we're talking about organic SEO, remember, what did we say? Ask them what they search for. And if they search for, Blue Moon pressure washing, if that's what they do, then use that as your title. If you need to have your Blue Moon pressure washed, here's the right way to do it. Not only that, but think about this on the organic side, that putting out helpful articles, and you're doing it intently. Ray was talking about, the Japanese maple trees and all that. You can put out an article on how to soft wash your own house, how to soft wash your own roof. Okay. But you put it in such a way that if you have these and this is what you need to do, and that's what you need to do, there's a lot of people that want to do it themselves. And then when they read, okay, what are they typing? They're typing in, how do I clean my roof? How do I clean my house? How to do it myself? House washing, right? Those are the things that you need to think about. And then you create your blog post that is, hey, do it yourself house washing. Let me show you how to do it, right?
Right. Can I clean my own? Yeah. Can I clean my own roof?
Yeah. Exactly.
Can I clean my own roof? Absolutely, you can. And in fact,
and show them how difficult it is.
Even included the link to. We included the link to ARMA, the Asphalt Roofing Manufacturers Association, and I would type out that, and I would put that link in my thing, because now all of a sudden you're getting connected. Your post is getting connected to ARMA out there on this web, and say, it's just something that the average homeowner could certainly do. However, you've got to take the adequate safety precautions. You've got to do the adequate landscaping protection. Mm-hmm. If you've got a fear of heights, this really might be scary for you. And let them know. But you know what? If this is something you don't want to do, we're happy to help and take a look at it with you. Sure. But
you know what we're going to hear on the internet tomorrow? Doug and Ray were telling people to tell homeowners to do it themselves.
Yep.
But guess what? If that's what they're searching for, they're going to do it themselves anyhow. It's your, right. I mean, they're not a customer to begin with. And I think that's where the wrong mindset is. If I'm telling you how to do it and you're going to do it yourself, it's because you were going to do it yourself anyhow. And so when I educate you on,
Right.
covering these plants and doing this, and here's the danger for that. And then, how steep is your roof and how slick is it? How slick is it once you get the algae wet and all it? It's going to be like Martha's going to be telling Bill, you're not getting on that roof. You're creating those road
you could even you could even do, and also, be careful. Let's make sure that is actually algae growing on your roof and not degranulation. That would make your roof even more dangerous to walk on. So, put that little fear in their mind, and it's not unjustified fear at all. It's truth. I want to hit back on this, what Anthony is saying. Anthony, I 100% agree, and be very, very, very careful about buying backlinks or buying reviews on this. And you'll have people that'll say, you go onto Fiverr, I'll list you, 100 backlinks for that, or we'll put reviews up. If Google finds out you're doing that, they will nuke your site and drop you like a hot potato.
Absolutely. It's the same thing with reviews, because there's a lot of guys that are paying for reviews, and you can end up getting yourself in a lot of hot water and killing everything that you've worked so hard for. You were getting ready to say something, Mike?
Kankakee Ghostbusters.
No,
I like this. Doug's keyword is unemployment. Hey, I'm gonna step out and see if I can make this glitch stop.
All right.
No, I wasn't gonna say nothing. I was agreeing with Ray as far as playing around with if you do some illegal stuff like paying for reviews or using one of them Fiverr companies and you get backlinked to something you don't want to, I would hate to get my Google shut down. That would hurt.
Well, I mean, have you ever heard of Black Hat SEO?
Yes, I have. I don't recall what it means though.
Okay, so it's something that I hate to admit I took part in it before, because it would help you rank on web pages and all that. And there's a lot of different ways to do what's called Black Hat SEO, and I'll explain that in a second. But it's something that if somebody's telling you these things, think about it in today's day and age. Google is way smarter than we think they are half the time. They've got so many algorithms out there that, hell, your phone knows what you're saying before you do half the time. So an example of Black Hat SEO would be, what color is a piece of paper, generally speaking?
White.
Okay. So if I write on that white piece of paper in white ink, are you going to be able to see it?
Gotcha.
No, you're not going to see it, but it's still there. So the website crawlers, so Google goes and crawls. It doesn't know what color anything is in. Okay. And so one of the tools of Black Hat SEO would be that you would do all of this typing, right? Put it in really small font, and you would put all this stuff in there under white so that you and I visit the website. We don't see all of that. This is what we're talking about too when you hire some of these other companies, right? Some of these companies that are doing backlinks for you and they ask you for access to your website, they're putting in a lot of this stuff on a white page. You can't see it, and yet it's all there, and it's talking about porn sites or whatever, right? Again, those can absolutely kill your website ranking. All right, so if you'd be out of business if Google went down, that should speak volumes. You got all your eggs in one basket.
I agree.
And I'm going to throw that out and say in anything that you do, right? If all your advertising is is to realtors, right? And the realtors, they all dry up because of COVID or whatever it is. Boom, you're killing yourself, right? So, Mike, what other kind of specific questions do you think you might have?
I didn't really have too many questions. I think, well, after you guys speaking, I gotten a lot of good tips. I think having the customer tell me exactly what they searched is such a great idea. I've never thought of. It's always how'd you hear about me? How'd you hear about me? But actually, what did you search? It's incredible, because now I know what I can use in the vocabulary, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just with with Google My Business, that is, because that's something I interact with on a daily basis. And my website, that's in the hands of other people.
And there are so many different ways to twist that, as far as, and I don't mean twist that in a bad nature, but twist that as far as the customer is concerned, as to if they ask, why are you asking these questions? You know, we want to make sure that we're doing things for you correctly. We want to make sure we're taking care of whatever it is that you're looking for. You know, you can go down that so many different rabbit holes with that it's not even funny, to make sure that you're on the right page and on the right topic with them. Stephen said, again, a lot of great comments coming from Stephen, where he's saying, if you spend
Stephen's in my area too.
What's that? He's in your area.
Stephen's in my area, and he's a good guy. You know, he's in the paver sealing more, but he also washes.
Mm-hmm. But look at what he's saying. If you spend $1,500 a month in online marketing, you should also spend $1,500 a month in face-to-face meetings. You know, all of this was supposed to be a little bit about the organic side of things. And organic is, again, unpaid for stuff, right? So anything you can do, which even is, you could take that and transfer it offline even. Doesn't all have to be online. I'm going to say that referrals are organic, right? Even though that's not necessarily what we're looking at or talking about per se. But they all of that boils down to the same thing. And that's what we're talking about, not putting all your eggs into one specific basket. I can tell you that people love videos. Having a video on your website, but you also have to have all of those alts and key tags and all of that. So, and just to understand something, that when you look at some of the like meta tags are really a description, if you would. And you want to keep them short. You want to keep them sweet. You're hiring a web guy. He should know all that, should do all that for you. But these are things that I encourage you guys to look up some of these. When you hear some of these words, and it's alt tags and meta descriptions and all that, look it up, right? And then that way you can at least have an intelligent conversation with whoever it is that's doing your website, so that, you know, they know and they understand, and you know and you understand. You're all on the same page, working together for the benefit of what you're doing. And when was the last time that you actually sat down and talked to your web guys about what your goals are and what it is that you're trying to accomplish?
It's been a little while for me. I mean, there's monthly reports, but I haven't, you know, and that's something I got to be more proactive on. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that you gave me these ideas, just because, all right, so I have a YouTube channel and I have some videos that do pretty well. Now, if I could, you know, we've spoke before with my web guy about putting one of them web videos kind of up front, because that would help tremendously, you know, just any kind of, but it's been a while, and that's something I got to maybe see if he can sit down and talk with me about.
You also have to remember on that if you're doing that, the title of those videos is so super, super important, because it has to be what somebody is searching for. If they're not searching for it, it's pointless to be out there, right? So I think one of my best videos is, does bleach damage my roof? Okay. Because I kept getting that question over and over and over and over again. So I thought, okay, well, if I'm getting that question a lot, and this is something you guys need to think about, if your customers are asking you the same questions over and over again, and again, I encourage you, Mike, you go and you do an estimate, right? And somebody asks you a question, go sit down in your truck and write that question down. It's going to lock it into your brain, and then keep track of those, right? You hear it so many times. That's part of your video, part of your blog post, part of, that becomes part of what it is that you create a page on it, right? Somebody said earlier, 50 to 100 pages for your website. Here's where you can create a very specific page on your website that deals with that in particular, which is going to help you with that organic traffic. And it's going to help you with that when Google is searching your page and all that. And I mentioned Google a lot, but look, don't forget that Bing has, what is it? My Places or something like that.
Yeah, they have something similar. And I haven't really dove too much into it, though.
You absolutely should. I'm not as worried about them, but this is about organic, right? You want to use all of the different tools that are out there. And, Bing, Microsoft, Yahoo, they're all kind of the same. one of the things that Ray said earlier was about when he pulled up your company, right? Who was one of the top 3? I think he said
Dan Ryan. I know he said for sure. And then
he said another one.
And then Magic Bubbles.
But what's another one?
Another one he said, I forget. I just remember Magic Pressure.
Power washing Palm Beach.
So Angie's List was one of them, wasn't it, Ray?
Yeah, Angie's List and
Yelp. Yelp, that was the one. Yelp, it was Yelp. It wasn't Angie's List. I'm sorry. So if you Google just about any company in any location anywhere, you're going to get some of the top players. Look at how they've written their ads. I'm telling you, read it, look at it, understand it, because Yelp, Angie's List, all Home Advisor, all of those, they spend millions trying to make sure that everything is organically there for you. Not organically, they're paying for it. But all the SEO is right there for you so that no matter what you're typing in, they know, right? It doesn't hurt you necessarily to mimic them, even though, like I said, you want original content. But remember, they're using those keywords that you need to be using because they know, they do their research. They spend millions to find out what those keywords should be for your area. I dare you to search anything at all that has anything to do with like a home service industry type of a business. I don't care if it's house washing, dog poop pickup service. I don't care what it is. They're going to be in the top ranking somewhere there because they spend the money to do that. Mimic them.
Great idea.
Yeah. You know, Jeremy's saying boots on the ground marketing, and that's followed up with a comment from Steve. And I mean, Doug, we've talked about this for absolutely years. Absolutely. Go out there and park your truck outside of a Home Depot garden center or the tool rental on a Sunday morning. God, if you've got 2 trucks out there and one's not operating, go park that mother out there at the garden center or tool rental. Oh my gosh, it's such a good use for it.
You know, it's funny because sometimes I've had people say, man, God, I got 3 trucks, but I only got 2 of them booked for tomorrow. I don't know what to do with my guys for that 3rd truck. And man, I don't really know what to do. And I'm like, so what did you do with it? Well, I just told them to stay home for the day. Okay. And then you lost your crew, right? Well, yeah. Okay. Put them to work, but we don't have any work for them. Yes, you do. You have a wrapped truck. Drive through the neighborhood for the next 3 hours, just circling. So look, imagine this. First thing in the morning when everybody's leaving and when everybody's coming home, that's where you want your trucks driving around, right? Let people see them. Sometimes people say, man, how many trucks do you have? Okay, at the time, maybe I had 2 or 3, and you're like, but man, I see your trucks everywhere. Yes. If I got nothing for you, you're going driving around for a little while. That's it. I want you to, I want to know where you've been, how you've been. I want you to stop and say, hey, nice puppy, whatever the case may be. I engage with people, right? I can't tell you how many times I want to shake my head where you go to a Home Depot or Lowe's, doesn't matter what day of the week it is, and you see a wrapped truck, nice, okay, and that it's the owner that's driving that truck, and he's parked in the middle with everybody else. And I'm like, that's stupid. Why waste that money to park in the middle with everybody else? Park where everybody's driving in. Sure, you have to walk a little ways. Who cares? That's what it's about. It's about getting your name out there. And that is organic, even though it's not SEO. It's still making sure that people see what's the point in spending money on, your shirts. What's the point in spending money on your website? All of these things have to work in unison. They all have to work together. And so everything should be virtually the same except for your keywords. You have to find out what those keywords are. They're probably the most important side of the organic SEO are those keywords, knowing what those keywords are and using them correctly, not just using them. So a lot of times you see guys that put in pressure washing in West Palm Beach. If you want your pressure washing done in West Palm Beach, call the West Palm Beach professional service for pressure washing in West Palm Beach Pressure Washing Services, which is in West Palm Beach. You're like, give me a freaking break, right? You don't think that's being overused and that the algorithms aren't picking that up?
Yeah, they are. And that's just the key word stuffing right there. And it just it looks silly at that point.
And Ray just said it correctly. It's called keyword stuffing. And they know the algorithms pick that up, right?
But that's where you go blend it in with power washing, pressure washing, exterior cleaning, window cleaning, and you know, you can blend all of these words. I would even say on some of your keywords, especially like on your Google on your YouTube stuff, you know, we tag videos with does roof cleaning kill my landscaping? And that's a phrase, a searchable, you know, a keyword in there.
That's what people search
so
for,
to speak. And you know, I think everybody should have a page on their website talking about safety and precautions and plant and property protections and how we go the extra mile to render, you know, your property safe.
I'll give you a page title right now.
That's one of those things because.
Go ahead, Ray.
What?
No, one of the pages you could have on your website, alternatives to bleach cleaning.
Yeah.
Alternatives to bleach, right? So why would I do that? Well, you can go in there and say, yes, there are many.
Because there's people who want alternative to bleach. I mean,
there are lots of alternatives. You could use high pressure. You could use a red tip. Let me explain what the damage is. Everything you do and everything you use has its own problems and its own. So you've got to think outside the box and that kind of stuff, and use those terms that you keep hearing people say, good terms and bad terms. If they're using them, you should be using them. Absolutely. And embrace them. Don't hide from them. And you use them in the correct sense, like I'm saying, where, you know, alternatives to bleach roof cleaning, you know, something to that nature.
Or my plants are dead or something like that, right? Or something along them lines, because that's what I get a lot too. Like, hey, I just want to I wanted to know if your guys did soft washing, and also, does your solution kill my plants? That's like the number one question.
The last guy killed everything.
Do you have a page saying, does our solution kill your plants? You should have that. You should absolutely have that page.
No, I'm writing all this down, guys, and I mean, I really appreciate it.
You know, and this is one people don't realize this right here. SandQ, and what do we use that a lot during COVID sanitizer? But what does it say? Sanitizer, disinfectant, viricide, cleaner, and mildew stat. You can absolutely clean with SandQ as a non-bleach cleaner. It's a quat. You spray this on mildew and it turns it. You see the reaction. It will go from. You'll see the color flash on there. You're still going to have to use some pressure to fully clean it. Now, you know, you're going to have to go in there at 500 to 1,000 psi to knock it down. But you can 100% clean without bleach. And we would tell people all the time, absolutely, we have alternatives for it. Bleach works very well. Bleach has very little landscape problems when handled correctly. And we have alternatives we can use, and the cost is going to be greater because it is going to be more work for us. But Mr. Home wanting wash self, if you want that done, we absolutely have those tools at our disposal to do that. And the price for your house is going to be $375 if we traditionally do it, or it's going to be $942 if I have to use this.
Just use the.
Because there's a lot more work involved.
Yeah.
But no, this is great info because, like you said, Dougie, it's thinking outside the box, and I'm always thinking of ways of, you know, organic, and like you said, not just internet, handing flyers out, or, you know, like when I eat lunch, sometimes I'll eat lunch and I'll try to go somewhere and sit in the parking lot and do some estimates just so my truck, it's exposure, it's a touch point, you know.
Just so you know, just the comment here with Jeremy Brook, where what if they are looking for Circus Burger Pro Wash? You should absolutely be using yellow boots in your blog post. You don't know what that is.
That went over my head.
That's a private thing. There you go.
Here's talking about pay your guys for 4 hours, have them drive around, put some flyers out and signs, and in the logo truck. Doug, you know me. I mean, I had everything. Hell, my boat was logoed spray wash.
Yep.
Every truck that I had was logo. I would have put a logo on Tanya's car if she would have let me.
My wife, this is no joke. My wife was so one day we were getting ready to go somewhere, and she said, you look really nice in that shirt. And I just kind of chuckled because it was a T-shirt with a pocket on it, right? Because it wasn't my Cajun.
She's like,
everywhere you go,
don't wear spray wash tonight. Don't wear spray wash.
Yeah, absolutely. That it's about your company. It's about the growth and what you're trying to do. So yeah, absolutely. Every place I go would be my wrap truck and my logoed shirt and my logoed ball cap. All of that. It all says the same thing.
Now you can Meyer, you can have you can use whatever hashtag you want. You can use absolutely whatever hashtag you want there. So
I don't know the hashtag thing well enough to make any comments on it yet. Just so you know, I should, but I don't.
Hey, enter yard signs at Home Depot. Why not? I mean, if you're a yard sign guy, why the heck not put them there?
If you're a yard sign guy, you should look at where traffic is at. And because at 7 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, all the traffic is going that way. And then 4 to 7 o'clock, it's going that way. And so you move your signs from one side of the street to the other side of the street. That's going to help you gain more traction than, but definitely Home Depot is a great place to put them.
Joe, talking about the R2D2 lingo. Hey Joe, I got another huge compliment on NutriPods today. In fact, I saw him on here earlier, but Barry Shields sent me a video. And Barry, I'm sorry I got so wrapped up. I'm just been crazed after coming off of vacation trying to return stuff. But Barry sent me a video and just was really bragging about the NutriPods, how they were just bam, really helped neutralize some stuff.
Let me. I mean, I hate to burst your bubble on that one, Ray. But let me pick on the NutriPods for just a minute, Joe. So what are we talking about? Organic SEO. If you guys have ever tried the NutriPods from Joe and you have not created a blog post about them, shame on you.
Joe's like a caveman, though.
No, but you see where I'm going, though. I mean, everything that you're doing, everything added and special and extra and all of this can all lead to organic SEO. Joe's got a great product that will help you with organic SEO, and it's NutriPods. How is that possible? It's possible because you write your blog post based on those NutriPods and saying, hey, this is something that we do. Hey, are you going to clean your own roof? Are you going to do your own? Watch out for plant damage. Here's one of the ways that you can prevent that. Ask Joe for a backlink and, go back and forth that way, right?
And Mike, this is something, you ought to do on your YouTube channel is sit there with a, hold on.
NutriPod.
Right,
yeah, with a NutriPod.
I'm lucky enough. Joe sent me a whole box of those NutriPods, and they look like a bunch of.
Right, but you've got the YouTube channel, and you can say, what, and you could, pull one out and say, what the heck is a NutriPod? and be talking about, so this little thing right here, here's what we do with a NutriPod, and we put this in your gutter, and it's a bleach neutralizer, and it's going to give us a little, and we can sell these for $2,400 per kilo. But
yeah, you know what?
So you might want to think about changing the color of those.
Hey,
but I mean, what a great key!
There's the thumbnail.
To use there, and what an amazing thing to talk about.
I got to tell you, I got a really good play with those. Okay, so I dare one of y'all to do this, and I'm telling you, it would work amazing. I'm telling you, it would. Talking about the organic SEO, right? Here it is. One of y'all do this, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be amazing. Get with your local police department and do a skit with those. I'm telling you, do a skit with them pulling you over, right? And them pulling out this, and what is this, Mr. Mike? And you got this huge bag of all, and you're like, dude, man, let me tell you what those are. Let me tell you what those are about. Okay, let me just explain. Okay, cuff the guy. Go through the whole skit. Make it fun. Make it. I'm telling you, the viral sensation that would be. It would just be amazing.
Yeah, how saving plants almost put me in jail for 25 years.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. Oh my God, that's great.
One of y'all has to do that for me. One of y'all has to do that.
And Servant, and Servant say it has the ARMA link that recommends blades just proper cleaning. Does anybody have the same type of link for vinyl siding? Yeah, absolutely. It's out there. It's one of the things that we go hardcore at with the plant and property protection course of going out there and saying, hey, here's what Georgia Pacific says. Here's what Certainty says. And we recommend you print these things out and link them back to your website. To me, like cross-linking on the website is, I don't know the legalities of it, but if somebody ever told me to take the website down, I absolutely 100% would take that link down. But I'm helping them, they're helping me. And whenever you're linking out to things like Georgia Pacific, trust me, it's helping your website out there. But doing the formal and I'm not trying to make this a sales thing for plant and property protection, which will incidentally be at the huge convention in August this year.
17.
Go to plantandpropertyprotection.com. But these are one of those things, and you should even be talking about this on your websites, on your blog page of, we have taken this course. We understand how to do these things. We've gotten certified in here. Here's the badge that we have on our website. And these are the things that can, you're keyword stuffing without keyword stuffing, because you're talking about a natural part of landscape and property protection while power washing, and you can, my God, you could write a book on doing it.
Not only that, but all of that, like even Facebook, right? So using Facebook and your before and after pictures, okay, they can help you organically to your website, even though that's not on your website. Because a lot of people, you're sending people the before and after pictures. Why not make some of those before and afters clickable? Number one, why not send them just a single before and a single after and say, this is another thing that's about organic SEO. Instead of saying click here, okay, because that's one of the things. When you go to a website and it says click here, sometimes that's actually wrong to do if you want to look at it from an organic side of it, right? So make a clickable link that says, to view the pictures of Mike Oleyn's roof cleaning at 123 Any Street, and make that a clickable link, right? Because now that's going to help in that organic search as well, just so that you know that.
Hey,
the click here thing doesn't mean anything to Google.
And something else, you want to talk about organic? Get out there on Facebook or Instagram or any of these things and ask, make sure you're sending your before and after pictures to your customers, and do go on to Pick, Play, Post or one of those, things that we recommend to do the before and after collages. We have, video of how to actually make that and do a before and after, post, Doug, on over at Pro. And then send those to your customers with your website address tagged in there and say, hey, would you mind sharing this post, or would you mind posting this somewhere? Look how amazing your roof came out, and please put Oleyn's pressure cleaning, on there, or the website, Mike, on there, and make your customers your little advocates for organically promoting your website.
I want to click on this one for a second. Bear with me. So Waterworks Pro Wash is saying linking to Georgia Pacific serves zero purpose. This is such bad info. And I want to touch on that for a minute. So, technically you're right and technically you're wrong. And what I mean by that is very simply that, yes, you're giving a link back to Georgia Pacific, which helps them and not necessarily you. But I think that might have been taken a little bit out of context, meaning that this is about educating the customer and showing them the education that you have and the knowledge that you have and where you're getting your knowledge from, and that you're taking that directly from the manufacturer. So no, it's not bad info. It is good info to have those. It's not about the link, right? It's about the information that link gives them that shows your credibility. So just want to.
It's about that you understand what in the hell that you're doing out there. So yeah, it's not about you linked all of a sudden Georgia Pacific and you're being that. But I will also disagree, because I've had way too many SEO experts sitting there telling me, going, the more outlinks and inlinks you have, and I mean, I don't expect Georgia Pacific to inlink to me, but you're certainly not hurting yourself by doing outlinks on your website. But what you are doing, like you said, is you're letting the customer know that you actually know what the heck is going on. So sorry, you don't like the information, and there's a button you can hit to no longer worry about it. Perry, I totally agree on this. And yes, the quats, and it's one of the reasons that any of the culinary cleaner, you should charge more, and you need to use a lot more personal protection on there. And you think bleach is nasty to bleed, to suck in. This gives you a whole different nasty kind of lung burn on there, but they do work. They do work.
There you go. I like making somebody go bye-bye every now and then. It's kind of fun.
Put them in timeout.
Now, sometimes you just get rid of them altogether. Well, you know what? This is one of my things about a lot of this. So sometimes you hear, and it's going to be my new comments that you'll start seeing coming out in 2022, where somebody will say, man, I hate these YouTube gurus, or they're this or they're that. I agree, but at the same time, call me out. If I say something wrong, call me out, right? Say, hey, that info is wrong, and here's why. Because sometimes info in one area is good info for that area, but isn't good info for another area. So it's not necessarily that it was bad info, it was meant for this area. So, hey, let's work together to make it all better instead of bashing or whatever. If somebody says something wrong, just call them out on it. It's not a big deal.
Right. And also, if you are going to say, hey, that's not right, maybe tell them how you do it and how it could be better. And
exactly.
People on the internet love that. They love, hey, you're doing it wrong. While they're sitting in their grandmother's basement, eating Cheetos.
Yeah,
exactly.
I've kind of, that's one of the reasons I don't go on a whole lot of, I was actually talking to somebody earlier on the way back from the house. He's like, and he was mentioning a specifically bad Facebook forum. And he's like, you know what? He goes, I literally am in there just for the comedy aspect of it. But I'm about to leave it because I can't stand it anymore. And I was like, oh, it made me kind of sad that I had been kicked out of that one a year ago. But
some of it's very comical when you sit there and look at it. It's comical for us that know better.
I have been kicked out of a lot of Facebook forums,
Yeah, I was telling Doug before we started, I'm taking a break from Facebook groups just for mental health. It becomes too much.
We've got a mutual friend that is just, he's freaking nuts to begin with. But he recently disbanded us, and it has been such a blessing. Oh my God, not seeing his stuff has been so nice, so nice. Because you get tired of all the negativity. Look, we can all just be on the positive side, help each other. And that's again, that's why we're here. Some people will say, well, they were saying, teach the homeowners how to do it. That's because if they're going to do it, they're going to do it anyhow. So educate them. And somebody made the comment earlier on about, you're educating them on why it's not a good idea for them to do it themselves. You're not wording it that way, but you're letting them know how to do it in such a way that they look at it and say, that's too much for me. I don't want to do that. Or I didn't realize there was this much to paver sealing. I didn't realize there was this much to window cleaning. I just thought it was spray a little stuff on there and wipe it off, you know? I mean, what more is there to it? You explain to them how to do it correctly, and then they might look at that and say, geez, there's a lot more to that. I didn't realize that, you know?
You know, I want to address this because I'm not a bandit or a yard sign guy. I never really have been. But again, it's a strategy that works for a lot of people. And I'll never sit there and say, oh, don't do it, because there's a ton of people that get great results from yard signs. I found they weren't my customers necessarily, but you know, Wesley, sometimes you just got to do, you got to do it. You can't really worry about the fear of doing that. Now, maybe if you live in an area that has a really aggressive code enforcement, you don't do it. You know, I know that Tallahassee doesn't really have any code enforcement like that. And I can't tell you how many times I've been driving around and going, man, I mean, you know what a great spot for a sign right there, because I see a sign and I had never, and I'm obviously hyper, you know, tuned into it at this point, and even more so now. But it's crazy to see the guys that do it swear by the yard signs, and
I'm going to throw something out there on this, a couple fold. So I used yard signs to launch my business, and very effective, but it's how you do, where you do, why you do, all those kinds of things. But I'm also going to encourage you. One of the biggest complaints that we have in this industry is hiring. Okay. And so finding good employees. So I thought about this today. So I'm currently writing the class on drumming up business. So a lot of different ways to get business and advertising, marketing. I think I'm currently at like 52 different subject lines. It's getting crazy. But anyhow, my point to that is simply this, that it hit me today that in using yard signs and thinking about employees, why not, when you're on a job site, you put out a yard sign? Well, a lot of people say, yeah, I put a yard sign out while I'm there. Why not get another yard sign that says, we're hiring, and your phone number on it, or not put the phone number on it, just we're hiring, make them stop or make them look at your truck. Now they see what it is that you're doing and see that you're hiring. Okay. I think that'll do a couple of things. I think that'll show that you're growing, right? To the people that are driving by. I think that it'll show, hey, these are good, hardworking people that are, you know, I'd love it for my son to get a job. He's been looking, right? So I think it'd be a good way to help get people to fill out applications and know what it is that you actually do before they even apply. I don't want to do that. That looks hard. The guy's cleaning a roof, man, it looks like he's wearing a mask and ladder. I don't want that. Or, man, that looks super cool. And yeah, let me call these people. Let me stop, incentivize your employees that are there to put out that sign. And if they bring on an employee, hey, give everybody a $300 bonus after 6 months. Guy has to stick around for 6 months, and your employee gets a $300 bonus for putting out that sign and getting somebody to sign on with you.
Let's address this for Ray K. I would probably start with Joe Walters, in all honesty. Yeah. I think they're an absolutely fine insurance company. I know they know the pressure washing industry. I think as you grow, but they're a great place to start, and they cover all the basics. You're limited to typically 3 stories on there. But if you're asking this question, you probably really are limited to you probably aren't going to be working more than 3 stories, starting out. And Joe Walters has a very good product.
They're very knowledgeable in the industry. They know the industry well. They've been heavily in the industry for a long time. So, yeah, I would say go with Joe Walters as well. I mean, they're a fine place to start. And they might even now have things that can go over 3 stories because they had to make all those changes from before.
Anthony Finelli, Alan Weems said thinks WordPress is better, and that was an old question that was back.
I think WordPress is better but again,
it's probably more the standard.
Yeah.
And all of us can wind up using WordPress as well too. Yeah. So, Perry Tate, for YouTube strategy, search Mr. Beast YouTube strategy. There's a lot of content regarding the most successful channel on YouTube. I'll do that. We answered that question. Well, damn it. Well, Wes, we've been waiting on you, buddy. You can tell. Don't get people that don't. Yeah, and here's Palm Tree is saying, I crush it with yard signs, although I usually have to put them high in a tree.
Yeah. There's also a few secrets to that as well.
Yeah, and so here's and so Jonathan's saying Port St. Lucie does, and I'm assuming he's talking about code enforcement on there, and 100%. I mean, there are some communities that if you put a sign out, they're snatching it out of the ground.
Or they're finding you for it.
Yeah, true. And if that's an area, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, you have to know your area. Look, here's one of the best ways to figure it out. If there's a bunch of signs out, they're not enforcing it. If there are no signs out, they're enforcing it.
Right.
It's that simple.
I actually had I had something kind of similar. We live on 3 acres outside of the neighborhood, and that's what caused us to wind up getting our first office, is because one of our neighbors complained that we had work trucks in our yard. And I got a complaint from code enforcement, and they said, I was like, but I'm in the county. We're allowed to have a home business here. He's like, yeah. And he goes, but you're not allowed to have multiple logoed work trucks. And that was actually if I had a fleet of 10, they couldn't have said anything to me about it. But because I had multiple logoed trucks, I had to go out and either go to one truck or I had to go get an office. And it was one of the three it was literally one of the 3 things that I credit with our success and our growth in Facebook,
I'll tell you what, same thing here, where I wasn't Facebook, in our forced out, but
business. So
having a shop and an office definitely changed the landscape of our company, where not just from a customer's perspective, but also from the employee's perspective. They weren't showing, when I had 3 trucks in my driveway every day, and they would show up and they would park in my driveway. When I got the office, the shop and all that, it totally changed the landscape of everything.
And it also motivated you, I'm sure,
Perry,
to get stuff done too, because you have to pay that bill.
Mm-hmm.
And Perry I think Sterling is asking a question about you, 6-figure marketing framework. So y'all two want to answer back and forth. Nathan, I know you and Nathan are real tight in the same similar areas, Doug.
I heard from a wise man once that you should put several yard signs out while doing the job. Yeah, I wonder who that wise man was.
Wasn't here. Let me see if I can find
it.
But that's the point.
One of us, but
if you everybody puts one yard sign out while they're working, but if you're going to put 1 out, why not put 5? And I'm telling you, people are going to catch those. They're going to notice that. And, what did they say? How many touches does it take to get somebody to recognize you, right? 5 touches.
It's funny. Right here, I Googled my Wild West saying he just got his GMB verified. And right here, I got my GMB for Power Wash Store Tallahassee. We were talking a minute ago about how this industry is about helpful. I mean, the one guy saying we have horrible information and we're awful people, and I should probably start my Glock. Whatever. I love, me being open now for 2 months. I witnessed it today. I've got a guy who's relatively new in the industry, and then a guy that's been here for 2 months in the industry, literally sitting out in front of the office out here in the parking lot, comparing pumps with each other and seeing whose would shoot further, and them just talking. This is one of the coolest industries in the world, as far as if you just don't want to be a douchebag and be a decent person. It's amazing how much help there is in this industry. And these guys are sitting here going, and sure, the one guy could probably look down his nose and go, newbie, whatever. But he was genuinely interested in the way that new guy had his pump set up and what he was shooting. And the new guy was generally interested in the guy who's been in business for 2 years was doing it. This business is amazing how much people are willing to help each other out there.
I agree. And whenever I see a truck on the road, I'm always looking, oh, how's their setup? Or, oh, you have your tanks here, or your reel here, or you're using a booster, you know, that kind of, it excites me. It makes my blood boil.
Absolutely.
Just as a secondary thought, and I know, again, I'll be called crazy for this, but when it comes to advertising and marketing, and sometimes you guys are thinking about the expense of it and all, why not, if you're going to do flyers, why not do mics on one side and spray wash on another side? Get a local competitor that is a good quality competitor. Find a way to word it working together so that when you have a flyer, it's two-sided. Okay. Why would you do that? That sounds stupid, right? Because you're cutting your expense, but you're showing, if you're not going to use us, hey, look on the other side of this and use that company, because we recommend quality companies to go with our quality company. We want to leave you find a wordy way to do that so that you can double down on everything. I mean, you have to make sure it's all fair and done correctly, and so on and so forth. But you don't even have to do that with another local washer. You could do that with, Mike's Pizzeria, right? Get with Mike's
co-op
or a landscaper. How about a landscaper? Split the cost with a landscaper out there. I mean, they two go hand in hand. I mean, what a perfect, golly.
And you can even word that as in, when our company kills all your landscaping, use them.
I just thought of a good idea too. Say you go into a neighborhood that you never washed before, and there's a landscaper cutting. You say, hey man, you introduce yourself and you tell them, hey, if I buy the flyers and put your business on it, can I put myself on the other side for roof cleaning? Like they're already in the neighborhood.
Right.
That would be a good idea too. But
actually, because it becomes kind of like I would want some dollars from them. But so what you're saying, if I catch that correctly, you've got somebody that is a well-known in that area. So people recognize and understand them. That could be powerful for you because it's like an endorsement from them to you. So that's like,
and you pay for the flyers and put them out.
Yeah, no, I could see that. Yeah. So we're going to advertise for you to be able to use your name and our benefit
as a reference. Yeah. I mean, I thought of that because of what you just said, though. Yeah. it went in my mind.
No, that's brilliant. I think that's a great way to look at it, because again, I had said get some money from them, but you're using their reputation to further your company.
Right. They're already sealed in that area.
Exactly. Well, Mike, we're over an hour. I don't want to take up we're almost at an hour and a half. I didn't even realize that. Sometimes we get the chat.
Hey man, I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be on here with you. When I first started, man, I remember watching your video on Rob Anderson's YouTube, man, and it literally got me into the business. So you and Ray both, like, huge. I mean, I look up to you guys. So thank you for having me on. I really
thank you, Mike. Great. And you've been an inspiration yourself, and we've loved watching your growth. And you're one of those guys who's just really seemed to do it right. You've invested in marketing, and I love it. I absolutely love it. We got a couple of recent comments. So Joe said, sea of yard signs, the ones that really caught my eye were tiny, about the size of a standard envelope. Be different. 100%. Be different, yet at the same time, be the same. See what's working for other people. Copy that, but then don't be afraid to tweak it and do something a little different, Always make friends with other, one of the things that we have right here on, I'm going to grab my phone, business cards of other people out here. And I encourage, people like, golly, Put your business card out there. Meet other guys. You never know whenever you're going to get a Florida State University, you're going to get an FIU or someplace like that you can't handle yourself. But if you have somebody in this business, you can tag team it, you know?
And if you're not leaving your cards places, I mean, I know we said we were ending this, and this is what happens all the time. We're not ending it. But anyhow, look, if you're not leaving, if you go and you stop at a local restaurant, we have, so in my area, we have, oh geez, now I'm, yeah, whatever they're called. Oh crap! Anyhow, I stop in there and I'll get some food from them every now and then. And if you look, they have a bulletin board where you can pin your card, or you go in to get your hair cut and they'll have cards out on the desk. If y'all aren't asking, hey, can I leave my cards here? You shoot yourself in your foot. This isn't about just the organic SEO. This isn't just about a website. This isn't about just your shirts. This isn't just about, you know, who you know. It's all of it together that builds everything together and builds you as a company. So leave your cards everywhere that they'll let you leave them. And if you can, create those little 4x6 flyers with, you know, and leave them there.
Mm-hmm. You know, I always
it's Boudin egg rolls. I like Boudin egg rolls with pepper jack cheese, and so I go to local places to get my Boudin egg rolls with pepper jack cheese, and leave your cards there. There you go.
Must be a Louisiana thing.
It is very much so.
It's a Louisiana thing.
If they're done right, oh man, they are so good.
Well, Jonathan, we appreciate you. Somebody's saying we appreciate you watching, Jonathan. Somebody's saying make more videos.
Hey, I got to. I know. I'm slacking.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Perry. David saw his. Yeah, I got an extreme up here. Absolutely. And Mike's inviting Sterling. Mike is the man. Keep it up. Waffle House. Hell yeah.
There you go.
Wawa. Thank you. Thank you. You're number one. Actually, you're number two.
You know what I like? So the center of his nose is like, if you look, the indent right there, it's like butt cheeks. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. I really do. I got a butt nose. Yeah. Oh Lordy, I always have fun with this. We got the best, you know, the best guys out there, and you know, Wild West saying it, you know, his barber passes out his cards like candy, 100%. You know.
And I'll tell you what, barbers. I mean, part of a barber's job, a good barber. Who do people buy from? People buy from people they know, people they like, and people they trust. Okay.
Yep.
Your barber is most of the time the person you know, the person you like, and the person you trust.
Yep.
Okay. So when you're sitting there and you're idly chatting with your barber all the time, and you happen to say, "Yeah, I need to get my house washed," or, you know, "my roof's looking nasty," or whatever, or have a conversation with him about what it is that you do and why it is that you do, so that he will have conversations with other people about that and give out your cards for you.
I don't know how to really take this right here. Ray is the Dom DeLuise of pressure washing, and he commented, he said, "Ray, right?
I gotta Google him.
Thank you. I think, yeah. See,
you have to Google Dom DeLuise.
That's showing Wild West age right there. So,
okay,
you have to Google Dom.
That's messed up. Who said that? Wild West. He's from Brooklyn. Okay. Oh, he's from. Oh, wow. He's in a lot of old classics.
Old classics, yeah. He was Burt Reynolds' partner in the Cannonball Run. Man, it was
Mike, you just made me feel super old, dude.
Hey, I feel old
you
every day too. So.
Dom DeLuise.
All right, Adam's coming in to get some NutriPods. The guy that just got one of the nicest trailers in Tallahassee hasn't even been in to see me yet. So
shame on him.
You better get in here.
Good stuff.
Can't wait to see you. Guys, y'all have a great night. Yeah, we're gonna sign off here. So, Mike, stick around. We'll do a little wrap up here, guys. Thank y'all, and see you next week.
See y'all. Appreciate it.